to take all the pictures you want, which will happen again after the presentation. Likewise for all the print journalists, all our guests here will come to the front after the photo call, and basically you have as long as you want. Their time is your time, so all the questions you want, because it's just one group interview. There's lunch too, which is also very important. You'll not have seen that in the buffet lunch through there. There are shuttles to the hotel, shuttles to the airport if you need those. And also, you can see the drivers and the car in action in a special exhibition which will take place in a driving course just outside the hall. If you've got any questions throughout the day, then just try to find a Mini hostess, because essentially this is a day that Mini have been planning for a long, long time, and everyone here wants to make this as special and as media friendly as possible. Because as I say, here we are at the place where the first Mini was built more than 50 years ago, and the Mini team have been preparing for this day for some time.
I will say the legend is back.
Great name, great history, and now I'd like you to meet the team who are trying to write a great chapter for the Mini team back in rallying. Please welcome Ian Robertson, who's a member of the board of management, sales and marketing from the BMW Group. David Richards, chairman and chief executive of the Prototype Group. Dirk Holbeck, head of Mini Motorsport. Dave Wilcock, who's the technical director, and the drivers and co-drivers. Chris Meek, and his co-driver Paul Nagle, Danny Sondol, from Spain, and his fellow countryman, Carlos Gildario. Welcome. Good afternoon. Going to be first question to you, Ian. Can you believe we're here? We're ready? This is it?
I mean, we've been waiting for this for a long time, but to see so many here, it's really special. So thanks for all making the time.
And what about coming into the World Rally Championship? I mean, BMW is a brand which has been associated very successfully with all sorts of different forms of motorsport. Why the WRC with Mini?
Well, as you say, Jonathan, motorsport is very much part of our business. And if we look back all those decades ago to the 60s, where Mini had all of its success and 3 great Monte Carlo wins, once we launched the Countryman, and the Countryman was the first 4-wheel drive, 4-door, and effectively a Mini over 4 meters long, it was a natural progression for us to actually introduce this back into rallying. And of course, this year will mark that event.
And what prompted you to do the deal with David Richards, apart from the fact he's sitting next to you now, but with ProDrive?
Well, I've known David for a long time, and there probably isn't a better person to be able to do World Rally. We've got a number of World Championships under your belt. As such, we enjoy the expertise that David brings to the team, and we really look forward to seeing how this season and on to next season develops.
But why this year? Why 2011? Because I understand the regulations, the new technical regulations of the season prompted you to think, yes, this is our time.
Well, as I said, we launched the Countryman at the back end of last year, so we had a product which I think is very appropriate. But as you say also, the regulations changed. It made it a more competitive entry, so the fact that the engines changed also took a lot of cost out of the business, and that made it much more attractive for us as well.
I wonder how many people here learned to drive and had their first car as a Mini. Clearly it's going to be more than that now, because it says Mini WRC. What are you hoping to achieve by doing this?
Well, the first generation of Minis, and I was interested to hear you say that Mini is over 50 years old. It's actually nearly 53 years old. I know this because it's the same age as me. And equally, my parents, when I was born, had a Mini. So 5 million original Minis were sold, which means there are 5 million people out there with great memories of this product. And of course, in the heart of it is rallying. And that was at the seat of the development of part of the brand positioning for the company. Into the second generation of Minis, in the last 10 years, we have expanded the brand beyond what was originally envisaged. So, we now have 4 members of the Mini family. There'll be a 5th later on this year, there'll be a 6th next year, and there'll be a 7th the following year. So the brand of Mini is in much broader than it ever was before. And I think WRC gives us the chance to actually look at different customer groups, to attract different customer groups to the brand, and also for customers maybe who've been interested in Mini, but really didn't see a car that was suitable for them. And of course this underpins all of that history, but at the same time gives us the next big step for Mini. So as we come through this year, I'm absolutely certain we'll have a record year for the Mini brand, and this will form a big part of it.
Let's pick up a point there with David Richards. You talk about being a suitable car. David, you're a man who has already, as Ian has alluded to, success. You've got a CV in rallying. You're a world champion yourself. You've had 3 world champion drivers. You've had world champion teams with previous manufacturers. Why Mini then?
Well, as Ian said, it's the new regulations allowed us to have a totally fresh look at how we designed a car for the World Rally Championship. And 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, we set about with these new regulations, and the design team actually designed a generic car without knowing which car we were going to apply the regulations to. And we came up with a design for the car, and then just by sort of coincidence almost, we found out that Mini were planning the Countryman, a car that was finally a sort of larger Mini. The original Mini was too small for the new regulations, but this one fitted absolutely perfectly. Not only did it fit in size terms, it fitted with a 4-wheel drive system. It had a superb 1600cc turbo engine as well, so every element ticked the box.
So clearly this is not just, oh yes, we'll go rallying. Not an overnight story, not an overnight thought. How much testing, how much work, hard work has gone into this?
We started design work in January 2009 for this car. We started applying the detail of the design to the actual car by October 2009, maybe a little bit later, maybe November 2009. We've had a year further of design work around the detail of the car. We started testing last September, and it's not just been dreamt up overnight.
Our first discussion was at the Festival of Speed in 2009.
July 2009.
I remember it well. It was a nice hot day.
Right. And you came together then and already started to... The magic was there, the chemistry was there.
That's when we started discussing it.
Good, okay. But you also, chemistry, magic is all very well, but you need to sell as well. So how's it going to... You've already got some customer books and so on, customer cars. How are those...
Yeah, well, the interesting about this program is we set about it with 2 objectives. We said, well, we want to have success in the World Championship. We've set out our timetable over the next few years. But we also said we wanted to supply our customer base with cars as well worldwide, so that it wasn't just exclusive to us. We wanted many customers around the world to be able to compete in their national championships as well. So we designed a car with that objective, and this year I'm very confident we'll hit our target of supplying 20 cars to customers around the world. And in fact, only last weekend the first customer scored a win on the first round of the Italian Championship, so not bad to start with.
There we are, already success. Dirk, a lot of people, say for the last 30 years, maybe more, will not associate Mini with rallying. It's a different brand. So how do you connect to them? How do you reach out to them? How do you attract them?
before, we want to wake up the sleeping motorsport fans. And I think rallying creates pictures which are great. A car jumping 42 meters long, this is quite something. It was impressive to see that a car totally covered in dirt. We've never seen a car like this before. And for example, the highest average speed on rallies on snow with 180 kilometers an hour. This is content which fascinates, which motivates, and we try to bring this via Facebook to the people. Social media plays a vital role in our communication because you can really get the feedback, the direct feedback from the fans, and we appreciate it very much. And then when people come to the track, then they see Mini plus lifestyle, so it's motorsport plus party motorsport plus music acts. So that's how we make the Mini wake-up call.
Music, social media, very contemporary. What about the history though? What about the tradition? What about the heritage? How important is that?
Very important, actually, Jonathan. I think the heritage is the key to make it authentic and credible. Without this, yes, it would be something, but it's just deeper. It goes into deep, and it's part of the Mini brand identity, actually. Motorsport forms the Mini brand, and so we benefit from that still today, and that's a really important also for the future. So the sporty sub-brand Jump Group Works we have is part of it, and that's the heritage, so that's what we protect. So it's important to us.
Turning technical, Twitter part of the build process, Dave? Maybe not. But in terms of the challenge then of getting the car, which is a Mini Countryman, as you say, which has just been launched, how do you then transform it? What are the technical challenges to make it into a Mini John Cooper Works World Rally car?
Well, the attributes of the Countryman anyway, it is inherently a four-wheel drive car, so the whole body shell has been designed around a four-wheel drive system. So it's inherently stiff, so in terms of meeting your stiffness targets, it's already well on the way. So for those areas, it's relatively straightforward. The real challenges are within the regulations, and with the weight limits imposed in the regulations, and achieving those is what's more of a challenge, which we'll discuss later when we go around the car.
We'll look forward to that. And plenty of time to question Dave as well. Chris, do you feel an old man? I don't mean that. Maybe younger compared to people alongside you, but I mean, you've been with the team since September. You've been with them a long time. It will maybe feel like a long time. How much ingrained and ready for the season are you?
Yeah, it's been fantastic for me to be involved in a project like this right from the beginning. Last July, I believe I got involved with David Richards and ProDrive. To test the Mini for the very first time in Portugal was fantastic for me, and as a driver to grow with the package, obviously to bring whatever experience I can to the team, and also work with a team as experienced as ProDrive. We all banging our heads together, coming up with fresh ideas, and ultimately trying to make a car that's going to be competitive in the World Championship.
And does that bring the best out of you? An extra responsibility to develop, and such a famous name as well?
It's my first time being involved in a factory team in the World Championship, and to be honest, I feel comfortable in my position. I feel ready for it. I feel as if I've gained experience over the years in all different marks of cars, and experience in rallying is one thing that really counts. And I believe I'm ready. I believe I'm with the best team in ProDrive, and I believe we have a huge brand. As we can see today, the interest that the Mini brand is bringing to the championship is something pretty special. So simply to be a part of it is fascinating for me. But ultimately, for me, the hunger is in success, and that's what we're trying to achieve.
You're ready for questions from 200 journalists and 33 television companies, aren't you? You better be. And also, just looking to the season as well, Mini doing, 6 events? So how much is this a learning process? What are you looking for to get out of 2011 with a view to next year, 2012?
Obviously, it's a part program this year, as you say, 6 rallies. For me personally, I'm treating this year as a building block for 2012. As David has mentioned, ProDrive had put a lot of hard work in before we actually started working with the actual car. And hopefully we can prove the car to be competitive over these 6 rallies this year. But ultimately, I think we can't be judged fully until we are competing in the full championship in 2012. So, and onwards into 2013, maybe then we can consider to win championships. But for sure, we want to be as competitive as soon as we can.
Meek by name, but probably wild by nature. Let's talk to the man who's got a restraint in. That's Paul Nagel, his co-driver. You're back together 4 years after your last time. How easy is it just to pick up the partnership?
We've been doing a lot of testing over the last couple of months. So, as I say, we started co-driving with him back in 2007. So really looking forward to it. We've a very good relationship both inside the car and outside the car, which is very important. We spend a lot of time together, and trust on my behalf and his behalf, being called the pace and driving accordingly for results coming where prizes come at the end of the day.
Do you approach this season any differently? Because it is only a half programme and because it is a new team, it's a new challenge, everyone's coming together. Are you going to be as demanding as you would be, say, in a fully fledged team, as you might say?
Our season we more or less started in January when all the testing is involved. So for every event or every championship, you do it to the best of your ability, and you do it as a professional job as you can. But with the likes of help from Pro Driving, some areas will make it easier for us. But for me and Chris, we do a professional job every day.
Well, wish you luck. Let's go to Danny Sordo, come from being Sebastian Loeb's teammate, possibly the most difficult job in the world, maybe, but we'll see. You've now got Chris Meek. That'll be easy, won't it? But how different is that? Maybe not. How different is that going to be, coming from a fully fledged team to a new team?
It's difficult, but on the other side, it's nice. I work with the other team from 5, 6 years, I don't know, the same people all the time. And it's nice to change, it's nice to help a new team, a Mini, to come back to the rally. It's nice to work with the professional people in Pro Drive, because I think he has a lot of experience in rally, and at the moment everything was really good. The car is coming better than better. This is important. Every testing is better than better, and the atmosphere working was really good with Chris. I know him before. I hope he will be not faster like Sebastian Loeb. So
okay.
We will see. I think we're waiting for nice year.
And in terms of how the team is ready and how they're prepared and what you're used to, how impressed have you been by Mini's professionalism and Pro Drive's expertise, their experience and their preparation for the new season?
For Pro Drive, I think everybody knows really professional team, and now I'm sure because in the testing we're working really hard, the people are really motivated, and it's good to work like that. And the Mini, I don't know, we need to start, we need to arrive at the first rally and to know where we are. At the moment, I think we can be fighting for nice place, but the best thing is we start now, and we will be all the time better and better.
Feels a bit like Friends Reunited, this, because we've got Chris and Paul back together again, and we've got Danny and Galos, you're back together again. It's reunited. Is that going to be easy just to pick up like that? Is it easy, once you've worked with someone in a particularly trusting environment, such as a rally car, you just pick it up straight away, do you?
Yeah, we have a lot of experience together. We worked back together in 2003 and 2004. Then on, we didn't lose the contact as I was working for him as a gravel crew co-driver, also made some testing. So we trust, we have a lot of trust in us, and okay, we are looking forward to this opportunity. We are looking forward to the start of the rally in Sardinia, and we are very confident.
What do you think you can achieve this year? What are your goals in your own mind? What do you think can happen?
Go as fast as possible, try and finish every rally and get as many points as possible for our team. That's the target.
Got it, Dave? Okay, that's what it is. Right, on that note, drivers, Danny and Chris, if you'd like to make your way to bring forward this beast which is going to go so fast on every stage and prove itself. While the two drivers get ready, see you shortly, to bring the car out on the stage, just a thought to you two here. Thinking back to that halcyon day in the summer 2010 or 2009 on the Festival of Speed, we're almost upon us. The car is about to reveal properly in all its glory. Are you nervous? Are you excited? Can you believe it?
Totally excited. I mean, it's been nearly 2 years to come to this point. Very special day for me.
Sense of anticipation?
Oh, isn't this Monte Carlo?
No.
Oh.
Right. This should have been Chris Meek and Danny Sordo. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen. That's Rana Altonen, and if I'm not mistaken, that is Paddy Hopkirk. Would you mind just turning slightly and reversing out of the way? Because you're in the wrong place. Nothing personal? We'll just turn it slightly for you, sir. This could take some time. No, we're all right. Brilliant. It's all right. It's all still on board. It's Paddy Hopkirk driving. Right. Come on stage. Let's just measure that. How far was it from the edge? About very nice to see you.
Seeing you.
I wasn't really expecting you, but there we are. Nice to see you as it is. I gather that you've already been in the new car as much as that very smart car, which that's the replica actually of the one which Paddy took to victory in 1964. How do you compare the two?
Well, you can't really compare a daughter and mother, but the new car is absolutely fantastic.
Where are we going with this conversation? I'm not quite sure. I think we'll move swiftly on to Paddy. Can you believe that you are on stage ahead of, well, it should have been that car already, but you butted in. You are on stage just ahead of a 2011 Mini World Rally car.
I certainly didn't think in 1964 that would be the case. I thought I might have been up there.
But how much are you expecting and how much are you looking forward to seeing Mini back in lights on the World Rally stage?
Well, I think it's wonderful. It's wonderful for motorsport. Chris Meek, fellow Irishman, is a great driver, and I've tried the new car by myself and with him, and it's fantastic.
Brilliant. Paddy Hopkirk and Ryan Larson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed. Come on, see. Well, that wasn't going to happen. I daren't try what I'm going to say next, but anyway, we'll take two. Are we ready for this? This has got to be Chris Meek and Danny Sordo. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare now, that sounds a bit better, for the 2011 Mini John Cooper Works World Rally Car. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. And here are the drivers. Danny Sordo, Chris Meek. Do come down. Thank goodness you're here. Wonder whether you'd aged. It wasn't too bad. So how good has this car been then for you? Let me stand there, you can stand on the side. How impressed are you, how excited are you? This is the moment, and now the world can see it.
I think everybody can show that the car is really, really nice, and the performance will be really good too. But the car honestly looks really impressive.
And you had to then drive it on. Was there a bit of a battle behind there? I was expecting you in the wheel.
I had to keep the handbrake on. He's a bit eager. I didn't want to drop it off the...
Too early, Mick.
But you're impressed, excited, and it's now, after all that hard work you've been telling us about, all the testing, July, September and so on, it's all coming good, it's all come to fruition.
Yeah, right from the beginning of testing last September, we had a really good feeling with the car. The chassis in particular is, I think, a really strong point. And but okay, we have still a little bit more testing to do before the first rally in Sardinia. And I'd say everyone's getting quite anxious now ahead of the first rally just to see exactly where we are.
Good stuff. All right, well, if you want to take a seat, Dave Wilcock, if you'd like to come here, technical director. Thanks for the moment, Chris. Let's have a look round, shall we? Just a thought, how proud are you to see this car here?
Yeah, maybe I should explain. I mean, I joined the team sort of last summer. I've been with ProDrive for over 20 years, but my involvement with the rally team was only been since last summer. So the real credits go to the design team and the engineers, simulation and analysis guys that produced the article you see here. So I'm speaking on behalf of those guys, but for sure I'm extremely proud with the product that you see before you here.
And what sets apart this particular car from other ProDrive
Well, this car, as David already explained, began in 2009 with a generic car, and what that allowed at the time was to start with a clean sheet of paper without the added distractions of being involved in the championship. So they had time to fully focus on all the different aspects of the car. The simulation guys trawled through empirical data, historical data, and just analysed what it took to reduce stage time. And also kept feeding all that information back into the design guys. And with that in mind, there was many brainstorming exercises took place in order to carry over all the lessons learned from previous years were not forgotten, and all the the failure modes were all there, and everybody involved, right from the workshop floor guys, who were a highly skilled bunch of individuals that assembled the cars, that it was all, we didn't miss it, no holes were sort of, no stones unturned.
So it's a perfect car. Good. Well, right, let's just come on here. We have camera just to come out to pick up the main items. Let's just open the bonnet for show the engine, show it all off in its glory. So what are the features here that we should look out for?
Well, obviously one of the main changes is the engine this year is reduced down to 1600 from 1600 turbocharged direct injection unit, as opposed to the 2 litre turbocharged from the previous generation rally car. Obviously it's all developed and tuned by BMW Motorsport, who we have an excellent relationship with in regular contact. Their engineers support our testing programme, so they see firsthand the environment the rally car operates in. Obviously they're very much race orientated, so I think it's been a bit of an eye-opener for them to actually see the operating conditions it's put under. So yeah, very pleased with the partnership with those guys. X-Drag transmission down here, which you can see again, a recognised supplier in the transmission systems. It's been absolutely bulletproof. We're very pleased with the transmission systems.
And then inside the car here, do you want to go to that side while I open the door here?
You can do, yeah, let's try that. That's right.
Are there anything in particular which is...
One of the striking features, I guess, instantly is the roll cage. You will notice that it goes outside of the B pillar, which not only improves the safety, but also gives the driver a feeling of space. Normally it's quite a confined cockpit in sort of traditional roll cages, whereas this one sort of opens up and it really is quite spacious. As we already mentioned, with the regulations, the weight limits are a bit of a challenge now. What's happened over the years is there are minimum weights now on the engine, gearbox and differential, which actually results in probably a plus 20 kilogram increase in mass. There's limitations now on the modifications you can do to the body shell, which with the body shell and closures actually approximately has a 30 kilogram increase that you cannot remove, little brackets and panels which you would do normally. And taking that into account, the 2011 regulation now is a reduction in 30 kilograms. So you have an 80 kilogram mass there, which you need to now, it's one of the areas where every single component has to be, scrutinised and stripped from all its waste material.
What about at the back here? This rear wing looks something else.
Yes, it does. The external surfaces...
And how much does it add in terms of performance?
Well, up until now, it's only 3 weeks old, the WRC Aero package. Our first test with it in Spain last month. We estimated around 0.5 seconds a kilometre. So it's a really powerful package, and both drivers have been extremely impressed with it.
And the boot? What's in there then? I know it's not going to help you much performance, but what's in it?
Well, not much, because we want to get rid of all the mass. But mainly it's as you can see, the fuel tank remains in its sort of standard location. It's capable of carrying 2 spare wheels, fore and aft, as opposed to on top of each other, which some cars do, and they're both laid flat, low CG. But with the way the tyre regulations are at the moment, what we've seen in the championship so far is punctures can dictate your rally. So it is one of the areas where we're practicing with the drivers to reduce their tyre change time. And but that does look set to change because of the new tyre coming online, which is almost a run flat. So that's part of our next test programme to evaluate that.
Final point, twin exhausts.
Yeah,
Look forward as well.
that's a striking feature with the Countryman with twin exhaust. It sort of separates it apart from the rest of the competition, and it's sort of on the tone as well. You'll distinguish a Mini coming through the forest opposed to the other cars.
Great stuff. Dave, thank you very much indeed. I'm sure you'll all have many more questions than that. We just want to bring down the boot and the bonnet. Very shortly, ladies and gentlemen, you will have your chance to ask your questions. We're also going to have the photo call in just a moment, and that'll be organised by a very tall man. So if anyone does anything wrong, he'll probably take it. He's so tall he can pick this car up and probably take it behind the scenes. I'll tell you that now. Do you know your car from BMW? Just beware. So the photo call will take place here, and then all the guests here will come to the front, and we'll do the group interviews at the front of the stage after the photo call. Remember, the drivers will be doing their demonstration outside the hall. There's lunch here. Any questions about shuttles or anything else, look out for the Mini hostesses. But for the moment, thank you very much indeed for your attention. Thank you for travelling from far and wide to be here. And now, please, Jörg will organise the photo call. You'll get all the pictures that you need. And ladies and gentlemen, all the questions will be answered to by your ever-willing panel. Thank you.